We are digging into week number 8 of the Hidden Crown, and as we step into a new month of teaching, we're going to be looking very closely at a key word, and that word is found in the Bible a lot. It's the word seek. So we have 4 key words that we're really looking at that help us understand and know who King Jesus is. Why is Jesus such a good king? When we look at the book of Luke, we're going to see that Jesus sees us, and he seeks us, and he serves us, and he saves us. That is why he is such a good king. So we just spent the last few weeks looking at how Jesus sees us in the Gospels. And now we're going to look closely and see how he seeks us out, his determination, his resolve, his mission mindset. And it's very easy to come alongside and say, wow, I want to live for the kingdom. I want to be a champion in the kingdom. Let me give my very best. And we could run forward so quickly that we could actually miss the fashion and the way in which we're supposed to seek out in the first place. So Jesus teaches us a lot about that. When we take this series and we put the scriptures before us, we also write alongside an episode. It's a parable story that helps kids understand what's going on in the scriptures and helps us remember those concepts. And it's very fun to see how now that Addie's character has decided she's going to rise up, she's going to reign, she recognizes that she is royalty on the inside and she can step up now and help in the kingdom. But she's ready to just take her sword and start flinging it around and swinging and giving her all. And she doesn't yet have the strength of process. She hasn't learned how to seek. That seeking is not just running aimlessly and blindly, but there is a way of seeking that is godly, that is the way Jesus would do it. And so in this particular big idea, it is Jesus seeks the Father in prayer. Now Jesus was God. 100% was God, but he also left heaven, became a part of humanity, and as a man, he modeled something for us that we can take hold, because if anybody had peace, it was Jesus. If anyone had clarity, focus of mind, if anyone was able to move forward and seek out this huge world-changing mission with purpose, Jesus did it, and he did not look exhausted or stressed about it. And yet I believe it really comes out of a context of prayer. So when you look in Luke chapter 2, you're going to see again and again and again, chapter by chapter, that Jesus was praying. Now in Luke chapter 11, the disciples are asking, hey, Jesus, show us how to pray. How do you pray? Because they could tell there was just a supernatural work in the way that he would connect with God. And it wasn't just that he started teaching about prayer, but they had been watching his lifestyle. So you see it in Luke chapter 2, Luke chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, chapter 9. Again and again, Jesus, either he walks out into the wilderness, he clears out from the crowd, he moves into quiet places, he climbs to the top of mountains, he spends the whole night in prayer. Again and again, you'll see Jesus pursuing the Father, seeking the Father in prayer. And it's from those places that he, before he ever makes huge decisions, before he calls the disciples, before he works miracles, there are these postures of prayer. Again, in Luke chapter 9, you also see this really amazing moment. And most people would just point to the glorious moment, but you got to recognize it started from a place of prayer. So Jesus calls his best buddies together. They climb up to the top of this mountain and they start praying. And out of that place, his identity is just revealed before them. He starts glowing. Prophets of old start appearing. They call it the Mount of Transfiguration, and it's miraculous and amazing, but it started from a place of prayer. So now in Luke chapter 11, when the guys finally come to him and say, hey, what is it about you? Tell us how to pray. Teach us how to pray the way you do. He gives an amazing start by giving us this kingdom perspective. So Jesus says, okay, this is how you should pray. And he says, he speaks to the Father. So we know he's praying to the Father in heaven. And he says, Lord, may your kingdom come soon. So it's all within the context of kingdom, understanding that we are a part of God's kingdom. And that's the lens that we get to view life through. That's where we learn about our agenda. That's where we learn about purpose. That's where we see passion rise up, because it's out of a kingdom perspective. And then out of those prayers beyond that, he gives these examples of give us each day our daily bread, and help us to forgive others, help us not to walk into temptation. All of these very practical pieces, but it's under the umbrella of knowing that we belong in God's kingdom. And now he gives this example of a prayer, but then he also begins to teach more. So he can help us flesh out this picture of what it looks like to pray to the Father. And he gives this example of a very persistent guy who comes knocking on someone's door in the middle of the night saying, please, 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 I need some bread. I need some bread. Someone's come over. I don't have any. Please, please, please. And it says it's a very natural example of a supernatural connection and relationship, because of course God is not a guy locked up in a house saying, I don't care, leave me alone, don't bother me. That's not God's heart. What Jesus was showing us was the pursuer's heart, the prayerful person's heart. And so he's encouraging us and saying, hey, go ahead and seek out, knock on the door, call and ask, reach out. In the natural, even a regular guy who doesn't care would eventually open the door and give bread. But it says, how much more does your Father in heaven love you? He loves to give good gifts. And he poses before us this 3-step process. And I love how I see a fullness of a prayer life in these 3 little words. He says, keep on asking, keep on seeking, keep on knocking. Ask, seek, knock. But it's not just ask once, seek. Like it's this verb tense that continues on. It's that keep on, keep on, keep on. Don't give up. Keep on going. This is the time to keep on asking. Ask and it will be given. Seek and you will find. Ask and you will receive. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. I believe that ask, seek, knock process is something we get to walk in all the time in our personal prayer life with Jesus. That as we connect with him, we're going to ask, we're just going to humbly come before him in the throne room in the presence of God and experience him and ask, Lord, show me how to live. Show me what you want me to see. Show me, asking. And then as we spend more time with him, those asking moments kind of shift and change into even totally different types of asks, even different types of requests that are more kingdom focused. And out of that asking place, it then positions us to seek well. That out of this place of peace and a regard for his kingdom, out of this just very dynamic resolve, we can move forward, not just blazing away with swords, but like we dig in on our real sword, the word of God. And as we get more closely, just like knit with his heart, the asking and seeking and knocking is more fluidly connected to his heart and his character. I love the knocking part because it's part of the action piece. Prayer should always move us to action. Prayer should inspire us to be kingdom world changers, champions in the kingdom. And so it's not just a one-time thing. It really is this process, this learning. Ask, seek, knock. And you will see in this particular month of episodes and teachings that as we seek to walk in freedom, as we seek out the lost, as we do these huge kingdom endeavors, it's got to be preceded by prayer. It's got to be bathed up in prayer, that we spend time in those quiet places. And then there's always going to be another thing to do. There will always be another task. There will always be another notification. The reality is Jesus had the most grand mission of all. He had the biggest things in the world to accomplish, and he had 24 hours in a day just like we do. I believe if Jesus could choose to find prayer to be a high priority in his life, then we can too. We can set aside those moments. We can carve away. We can cut out the fat from our day. We can spend more time asking, seeking, and knocking, and just walking in this new rhythm of prayer and godliness with the Lord. He will call out great things in you. And I believe in those places, it is that passionate, powerful place that he will birth new vision, that he will shape and shift things in you, that he will cut things away, that he will lovingly speak and whisper dreams upon your heart. These are those places where when we begin seeking, we can have a confidence knowing I'm seeking out the right things because I've spent time with the Lord and he's called this upon me. I believe that this is one of those things that distinguish the kingdom cause, the passionate but empty endeavors with the champions of the kingdom. We're going to see in the episode a series of dreams that Addie's character has, and they're very similar, and they kind of unfold each time a little bit differently, but each time she faces a bear, she faces this adversary, and at some times she does not have her sword, and other times she does. And it distinguishes this picture between sometimes if we just jump into the fight without being prayed up and having that place where we've been hiding the word in our heart, we will not have the sword at our ready for those unexpected challenges or those moments when we need to rise up in battle. And then yet there are other times when you will reach and you will find that sword because you've been positioning it right by your side each day, day in and day out, in the quiet places, on the mountaintops, in the wilderness, those precious places where you've been seeking the Father in prayer. I hope that this particular week you find just really rich anointed time with the Lord, and that as you seek out Jesus, as you seek out Him, that the other seeking in your life, the things you are seeking and desiring to overcome, the challenges you face, I pray that those will just become a fluid, like a leap, that you just leap up over those things and walk with grace because you have been so carefully covered in the presence of God in those other moments.